Hey everyone, happy Saturday. Hope everyone's weekend is going well. So here I am in the shop for just a short day. Came in at 9. It's, I don't know, 1 right now. Probably going to head out pretty soon after I clean that off because tomorrow is the VW Treffen. So I'll probably do a separate little walk around video on that car and post it later. I've done one before, but why not? Just for any new viewers that may not have seen or care to dig up the old one. Anyway, so worked on a couple things today. One of them is that, the other is this. So let me go in chronological order here. This is what I worked on first. So I was all set to do the cam brake in today, and well, first thing I did was I corrected the wiring on the voltage regulator, which on these is underneath the back seat. There were just a couple wires that were in the wrong position. No big deal. So fixed that and fired it up, and lo and behold, the generator light went out on the dash, and I checked the voltage output of the generator, and when you rev the motor a little, it went up to like 14 and change. Perfect. However, then what I noticed was that this fuel pump was like puking gas out of somewhere. Yeah, it was really hard to tell, but it looked like it was maybe coming from under here. I couldn't really tell, but so I kept like wiping it off and then starting the motor and getting it to, to leak again and back and forth, and then finally I determined it looks like it's probably coming from up in here where the diaphragm is sandwiched between this upper and lower body pieces. So I'm hoping that it's a simple issue up in there. So I'll probably go ahead and pull this off on Monday and go ahead and get a rebuild kit and rebuild it and hope that that takes care of the issue, because it was leaking pretty bad. I mean, this whole thing was just wet like pretty quick after running for like less than a minute. So again, this is a fuel pump that he got off a guy who I guess advertises on the Samba or whatever, who rebuilds, I think, fuel pumps and I don't know, distributors and coils and all this stuff. I'm not going to name names. He told me who it was. But yeah, I don't know, guys, be careful out there. There's a lot of people who, and I'm not necessarily saying this guy is one of them. Everyone has a bad day. Maybe he just made a mistake. But I think there's a lot of people out there who make parts look pretty, but they don't necessarily work that well. So just, I don't know, kind of be careful. I'm sure this guy, maybe he just made a simple mistake. I don't know. And again, I'm not going to name names, but if you've been on the channel for a while, you remember a similar situation where we had that 63 ragtop where the owner had a, in this case it was a carburetor that was rebuilt by a guy. I don't know, I think this guy was like on eBay or something, and the carburetor looked amazing, but whew, what a pile of junk this carburetor was. The passages for the accelerator pump circuit were like totally clogged, and it just, I don't even remember what. It had 3 or 4 issues that I had to sort out to get it to run right, and it looked pretty. I mean, the guy went and zinc plated everything, and cosmetically it looked great, but it was terrible. Like, it wouldn't run at all. So yeah, unfortunately there's people out there that, I don't know, they don't know what they're doing or what, and they'll happily sell you parts that are restored or whatever, and I don't know, buyer beware, that's all I'm saying. And most of this stuff is pretty easy to rebuild, guys, so do it yourself. It's kind of fun, and you can find plenty of tutorials and stuff on the internet for almost any of this stuff, rebuilding it. And so yeah, do it yourself, and then if it doesn't work, then you only have to blame yourself, and you probably save some money doing it yourself too, because most of these guys are not cheap what they're charging to rebuild these things. So anyway, I will stop that little rant. So anyway, yeah, the leaky fuel pump put the kibosh on the cam brake in. I don't want to, I don't feel good about it. Breaking in the cam with this thing like puking gas, it's just not a great idea. So we'll wait, and hopefully by Tuesday or so, if I able to get a rebuild kit by then. I'll rebuild it. Hopefully that'll take care of the leak, and then we'll continue with this guy's cam break-in, and that's probably about it. As I predicted, somebody had to go and spout off about this being in the fuel or in the engine compartment, and I will say once again, this is part of my setup for measuring fuel pressure. It's not going to be installed in the engine compartment. The end of this hose right here is going to connect to the fuel pump right here, and then this hose and the gauge and this filter are not going to stay in the car. So calm down, anyone who's out there ranting about this. This is part of my fuel pressure system. I knew somebody was going to say that, and somebody took the bait. Even though in my video yesterday I explained all this, but people are funny. The internet's a funny place. Anyway, it's all good. So yeah, that was about all the further I got with this one. And then I kind of turned my attention to this guy, and you know, we got his amazing seats. Yesterday I think it was, and they just look incredible. And I kind of been wanting to take this car for a little spin because I wasn't sure about the motor. It idles pretty rough, and it seems like it only kind of idles on 2 cylinders with these ICT carburetors, and this is like somewhat of a common phenomenon with these. And I was pretty sure that once you kind of got, you know, moving in the car and got the load and stuff like that up, that it would smooth out. So I went ahead and temporarily bolted this seat in so I had something to sit on, and took it on my little parking lot test. The back parking lot, which is in that direction, is pretty open on a Saturday, so I was able to make a big loop out there and get into second gear and, you know, cruise around at some different throttle positions and stuff. It actually runs really good. I was pretty happy with how it ran. So I think for now, I'm just going to kind of assume that these carburetors are okay how they are. Again, trying to kind of minimize this guy's spend on this car, because this car's got a lot of issues. So trying to minimize how much more of a money pit it becomes. But yeah, so the fact that it idles a little rough seems irrelevant once you get the car moving and driving it. What else? It was also, it was really been kind of hard to start this car. And at some point, I think his coil had gone out, and I put another good used blue coil in here that seemed to help tremendously. And then it was kind of being hard to start again, and, you know, recheck the timing, recheck the points, all that stuff. And it was definitely an ignition related thing, because I know that the carbs are getting gas, their accelerator pumps work. So getting near my wit's end, I just swapped out his coil wire with a used one that I had laying around that I knew or suspected to be good, and boom, the thing pretty much like fired right up. So probably Monday, I'm going to go ahead and put an all new set of ignition cables on here, and I think that's really going to help, because these don't really look that bad or old, but I turned the car off and restarted it several times with this replacement coil wire, and every time it started up great. Before, with the old one, I just really couldn't get it started. If I did, I'd be like cranking it for, you know, like a minute or more. Really bad. Now it starts in, you know, a few seconds. Give the gas a pump, maybe hold half throttle, turn the key, boom, fires up. So it was definitely that wire. And then AJ over at Low Bucket has the replacement air filters for it. So those basically that look less crappy. Well, they don't look crappy at all. They look new. So I got to pick those up from him, some wires. And then, yeah, hopefully my interior guy can start working on the carpet and the back seat and stuff like that. We can get this stuff installed. I think my paint and body guy is going to give this thing kind of a quick buff job here, best we can. You know, again, it's not going to take care of all this checking and stuff, but as far as the car being like a, you know, a 10 or 15 footer, I think it's going to look a lot better. And then I may have another plan with the wheels that will elevate the car a lot without breaking the bank, so to speak, for this guy. So that's pretty much it for this one. But yeah, it was actually pretty fun to take this thing on a little spin. I'm looking forward to getting it out on the open road and taking it for a real test drive. It seems like it's going to be a really fun little car. So hopefully when we're done and get it cosmetically and mechanically a little bit better, the guy can just enjoy the thing. And, you know, I think that's why he bought it. So anyway, that is it for today, guys. If anyone is at the VW Treffen here in Southern California tomorrow, come up and see me. If you don't know what I look like, this is me. Hey guys. So I will be there, and I'll probably be wearing a vintage classic specialist shirt of some type. So yeah, feel free to come up and say hi. I'm just only bringing the split window this time, so that's it for me. Anyway, so that's it for today, guys. Hope to see some of you at the Treffen tomorrow. And for the rest of you, I will see you again on Monday. Thanks for watching. Bye.